Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I am so excited to be here at Marcus Garvey Park, the Richard Rodgers Amphitheater, for the final dress of Malvolio with Malvolio himself, Alan Gilmore. So, Alan, what does it feel like to have a play written for you?
Well, in all honesty, it wasn't actually, the secret is, it wasn't written for me. Betty Shamia, who is behind us dressed in red, maybe you can see her, she's camera ready now. She says that she wrote it 9 years ago. But, when they did Twelfth Night last year in Marcus Garvey Park at the Richard Rodgers Amphitheater, of course she saw it, and they were like, we've got a Malvolio here, that you might be interested in. And so, long story short, she was like, yeah, that's my guy. And they were like, let's do that play. So here we are.
So she wrote it 9 years ago, but over the year, I know that you've been workshopping it and getting it ready. What should viewers expect to see when they come?
Leah, it's not the same. If they saw Twelfth Night last year, they don't have, it doesn't matter. You can come and see it without having seen that. But if you saw Twelfth Night last year, you'll be like, oh, wow, he's changed. This is not the same Malvolio that, we saw storm off the stage. It's really because Betty, the playwright, Betty Shamia, she just fell in love with the character of Malvolio when she read Twelfth Night as an eighth grader or something like that. She felt such a kinship that she wanted to write a play about that character, in a sense to set his universe right, if that's not telling too much, because at the end of Twelfth Night he goes off almost crazed with pain and the need for revenge for a very humiliating prank that was played on him, practical joke. So she has written this play, and it doesn't really begin with somebody who's still in the throes of pain and madness. It's 20 years later, and it's very interesting because you see somebody who has done some work on themselves. They are still not whole, So that's where the story begins. They're still not whole, and we're hoping that they find wholeness during the run of the events in Malvolio.
Now, when we chatted about how rehearsals were going, you told me that you were having some challenges because the cast that is assembled around you, with you, well, I'm going to let you talk about that.
They're hilarious, and I think of myself as a clown, essentially, Leah, as a comedian. So, and in this show, I am that straight man fulcrum around which the clowns fly and bounce. And, and there's some brilliant, brilliant clowns in this show. There's some funny, funny stuff in this show. If I start naming names, I'll name everybody, but particularly you have to be looking at John Andrew Morrison, who of course was a Tony nominee for Strange Loop, plays King Chadleo. That's a new character that Betty created for this show, and there's some other holdovers from Twelfth Night. Chadleo's son, Furtado, is played by J.D. Mollison, hilarious. A wonderful fool / festy, played by Matthew Harris, and just a lot of really zany, quirky, crazy stuff going on.
And you have quite a few other legends in this production. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Everyone needs to come and see Classical Theater of Harlem's Malvolio, starring Alan Gilmore here, and a host of theater legends, including John Andrew Morrison, Marjorie Johnson, Perry Gaffney, David Ryan Smith, and Stephanie Barry.
Fabulous cast, beautiful people, so beautiful.
Amazing costumes.
Amazing set. The special effects. There's a big digital wall that is the back of the stage that they make do in amazing things. There's a whale and the ocean and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I know. There was one other question I had for you.
I can't say enough about it. I'm on the team, you know.
Oh, and to be directed by Ian Belknap.
Ian Belknap, who is an alum like I am of the acting company, and Ty Jones, who is the artistic director of Classical Theater of Harlem. It was a dream. It was really a dream come true. And to be playing, a role that I played, the title of the role that I played last year, to be, returning to that character, though a little bit different this year, has been a dream. And, the other thing that I wanted to say, and it is very interesting about where this play begins, because it is 20 years after the events of Twelfth Night finish. And we all change, Lia, in 20 years. So you can say, oh, he's not the same Malvolio that we saw, but none of us is the same person from 20 years ago. What I want Betty to do is write the prequel to the sequel.
We will see you here at Marcus Garvey Park. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.